That's 4 excellent runs for him, and he will feel very good about that one. But a bit overpitched there by Ngidi. After a nice delivery, just short of a length, coming into the the left-hander, this one too full and dealt with nicely.
Well, I was now going to say, Ronnie, what better delivery would you ask for as your first delivery from a pacer? Full and wide outside the off stump, allowing him to play that exquisite drive.
This one, it's a appeal for LBW, but not too much from the bowler, and not really supported by the fielders. It seemed to be going down the leg side, but it's leg by nonetheless.
I was waiting for the signal from the umpire, but didn't raise his hand to his leg, so seemed to probably be a run, maybe a bit of an inside edge.
Well, that's why the appeal was stifled.
Indeed, and was going leg based on the angle of the ball. But as we have seen from Ngidi thus far, he's getting a good bit of movement. Many of his deliveries have started outside that off stump and shaped just in. The first delivery, of course, to the left-hander, Solazano, came into him very sharply, and he was unfortunately sent for being caught behind.
Well, Ngidi started off as a nice swing bowler. After that injury, you know, it really hampered him a bit, but he's getting back into his rhythm here. And he's getting back into swinging that ball, both direction, in and out. But it took him a while to get back into things a bit. We saw in the IPL, he didn't really play much because he was just getting back into it after that injury. So this is good practice for him here. Probably that's why he was given the ball to get match fit or match ready, as they would say.
And we're better to get practice than out there in the middle on the field of play.
Yes, definitely. So it's going to be Ngidi picking up a wicket already. It's a good delivery, testing delivery there from the big right arm fast bowler from South Africa. And at the end of the second over, it's 11 for 1.
A solid defense there from Tejran Chandapur. I must say he's looking very composed at the crease thus far. We see the skipper Temba Bavuma just shadowing from the stumps. In fact, even in the warm-up, while Rabada and Burger, they were taking a bowl, we saw Bavuma just standing at the side of the practice pitch with his bat and gloves in hand and mimicking the shots he would have played if that delivery would have been pitched to him. And it just, you know, it's really amazing to see the minds and the mental intelligence of these world-class international players on display firsthand here, Ronnie.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned that point, you know, I would elaborate a bit in terms of a lot of the international batters now. You would see them be the morning before the game. They would come before the pitch is prepared, before they do the warm-up, and stand by the stumps and visualize exactly what it is they want to do. Play shadow bat, as they will say, as Burger continues from the northern end. This one is worked away into the onside, and they will pick up an easy single. Yeah, and they'll visualize exactly what it is they want to do, the shots that they want to play. You know, pretend that, okay, the ball is a short ball coming, what would you do? These sort of things. And as you mentioned it, you know, I remember actually in Antigua once, actually in the Oval for the 4 days, I saw Keegan Brathwaite, doing that, playing for Barbados. Every morning you would see him early, before everybody's out. He would be walking out in full gears. Mind you, in full gears, he would walk out to the wicket, stand in front of the stumps. Well, can't stand on the wicket, but in front, behind the stumps, and shadow bat. Visualize exactly what he wants to do.
And that's such an important part of this game, because as much as you can have the talent and the physical strength and all of those attributes, the mental fortitude and being able to visualize your performance and actualize it after that initial process is really where the true testament to performance comes in.
Yeah. So it's going to be Burger. Chanapol is nicely behind this one here. And just, you know, we keep talking about other things, but that's fine. Just a bit on this guy, Casey Carty. He's now into the West Indies team. What do you think about this young man? he has grown leaps and bounds of late in terms of his career. He has shown a lot of character, a lot of maturity in terms of the way he bats. I'm sure you have some stuff.
Yeah, of course. We'll get back to that after this delivery from Berger.
Oh, that's a nice one. Just moving away from the left-handed Chanapol, straight through to the keeper.
It's a beauty from a left-hand fast bowler, Ronnie, to a left-handed batter. It's literally what you would envision every time you set out the bowl with that new ball, swinging away and just getting a bit of late movement. You can see just Rabada giving him a bit of a low five there. And, just to congratulate him on that delivery. But as you mentioned, Casey Carty making his test debut. We are not sure if he's going to be in the starting 11 as yet, but first time he's been included in the test squad.
Yeah.
First class average of 28 from 48 matches.
This one is down the leg side. Another good delivery from the left-hander. Yes,
and Carty, so Carty first class career, 48 matches, 85 innings, 2,360 runs, a high score for 127, and an average of 28.09. He has 300s and 18 50s. So by all means, those stats indicate that he does have the potential to continue on. I think he might probably want that average to be a bit higher. Let's say around between 35 to 40 for someone who bats at the number 3 position.
Yeah.
And granted, he would want to improve on that with any chances that he gets.
Yeah, definitely, totally agree with you on that one. But I'm happy to see him get the opportunity. And you know, you have to give credit to the when it's due to the selectors. They have given the younger players the opportunity to to go and showcase their talent. The likes of Louis, he did well at the 4-day championship, ending up with the top scorer, and he got the opportunity. Yes, it was difficult in England, but he has an opportunity now where he's comfortable, where he scored a lot of runs in the Caribbean to prove himself.
And imagine that, Ronnie. This was his first breakthrough season in first-class cricket, domestic cricket. And to perform that well and take that to the international level. Now, we saw from his performances many stats, and he was able to reach the one-half century, but the potential certainly is there. And from all of the dismissals, you can see he just has a couple bit of technical aspects to work on, but by no means is he going to be.
So, and Giddy continues from the southern end.
Yeah, by no means is he going to be phased coming into the South Africa test, because he'll be playing, as you said, in the Caribbean, home conditions, where even in fact Sean Tate, the bowling coach of West Indies, when they had an interview with him after the England series and looking forward to the South Africa series, he stated that he believed the performance would be much better down here just due to the relaxed nature of the Caribbean, and also having to go into England in a very cold, intimidating environment, all eyes on you, big cities where most of our players come from small islands. Those simple factors come into play.
So Ngidi continues. Chanapol, this one, he's nicely in line. So when you look at Chanapol, you see that trigger movement where he gets in line, walks across his stump as such to get in line, and that's where sometimes he gets into trouble, where he's not, where you can see the faster bowlers, he's moving while he's playing the shot. Because of that initial trigger back, he's moving into the shot and he's not quite there to play it, and sometimes he will get the edge, he will get LBW and all of that. So he has to be very careful of that, and that's something I'm sure the coaches would have looked at and worked with him on in terms of getting there. But you could see he's a bit more assured in terms of that movement and towards the ball. See, there you go again. Yes, exposing the leg stump a bit, but to me, he seems to have it covered.
And as you mentioned that movement, from just my humble observation, I think it's much more precise. When he now started to appear on the first class and regional and test scene, the movement was a bit exaggerated in terms of when he stepped forward to the crease. Of course, we know his dad, the legendary Shivnarine Chandapol, it was one of his trademarks, that very unorthodox stance and that ability to get himself in line with the ball by the time the bowler reaches, yet when the bowler is at the top of his mark, he's completely facing the other way. You know, so Tej has certainly seemed to improved on that exaggerated stance and has a bit more solid and compact nature with how he's facing these deliveries.
Yeah, definitely, totally agree with you on that. And it's gonna be Giddy again. This one is worked away into the onside, to the fine leg position, and they get through for another single. So they are working on it. Well, it's a leg by, signaled by the umpire. 13 for 1. So this pair, they then just needs to see this new ball barrage here. You know you're gonna get some good bowling from the likes of Burger. Swings the ball as we saw it in this previous over. You know what you're gonna get with Ngidi now getting back into his rhythm as such, and you know he will definitely bring the ball back into the right-hander. So you just have to be a little wary of that here. Is Carty. He can't get all, you know, covered by the atmosphere and what is in front of him, but play the ball on merit. And, you know, Ngidi, he is a world-class bowler, you know that. See there, he's bang on target, right? He is that world-class bowler, so you know what you're going to get with him. And you have to take advantage of any loose delivery. Let's look at this one again. Look at it. Bang on target. That's where you want to be.
And you can even see Carty where he is starting his base position with his batting stance. His foot starts on middle, but he shuffles across and actually is on off stump. So he's covering the entire of those 3 stumps and just giving him that opportunity to look towards the offside. We see a drizzle just getting a bit more persistent, and the ground staff gathering by the covers.
This one is worked away into the onside for an easy single. A bit too straight there and full from Ngidi. And it brings the over to an end at the end of 4 overs. It's 14 for 1. You can see the ground stopper. It's 15 for 1, I believe, at the end of the over. And you can see the ground staff there. That's gathering by the covers, but they're moving away now. Probably just a light cloud just passing over gently, just sprinkling some water in the outfield.
Well, the good thing is that the sun is out while the drizzle has been passing. So, and we know the excellent drainage on this place. So it certainly is not enough to worry the field of play. It's just as we know it is a practice game, and the South Africans would just want to be wary of, you know, not exposing themselves to any adverse conditions or any potential for illness and so on with the extra rainfall. But it seems to have passed by, and Burger is continuing into Carty.
Yeah, Burger, he would want to at least pick a wicket here. He was wicketless in that first inning, the West Indies innings, 16 overs and conceding some 50 runs. But he would really want to show the selectors that he's more than capable. And he is more than capable. But you need to show that, yeah, you can pick wickets here. And that's when you would know they'll give you the assurance. So let's see, pick up a 2 or 3 wickets in this first session of play here. Then it'll make things interesting in terms of for selection for that first test match. And we saw it early. He bowls a nice line and length. He gets that ball to swing away, as we saw early on, from the left-hander. But it's just a matter of getting that wicket now. That's an excellent delivery. Yorker length delivery worked away into the onside by Chandrapal. And he picks up, well, the ball actually hits the stumps. And it ricocheted for an extra run.
Good awareness to take advantage of that opportunity as well. One might think if it's a practice game, no need to take advantage there, but Chandrapal, knowing fully well he needs to get some runs on the board and needs to get himself back into that scoring mood, you know, take everything on offer.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you on that. And we saw Rabada doing some warm-ups as well, so maybe he would be into the attack very soon.
Oh, I'd be excited to see him. Just watching him bowl prior to the start of the game on the practice pitch, Ronnie. You know, his position, the seam, the release of the hand, his run-up, the momentum, everything is just what you would want to see in a fast bowler at any level of the game. And to see someone of his caliber and ability, you know, firsthand, is really a sight to behold. All of the West Indian fast bowlers as well should be looking at him and emulating some of his traits in terms of to improve their own game.
Very good point there, K-Sharp. And wanting to note too, he would be aware or familiar with the conditions because he was here for that T20 World Cup. So he would have familiar with the conditions, the wickets and all of that. So, you know, expect a lot from him. And being the senior bowler on the team, you know, he would want to put his hand up and say, yes, I'm the leader of this attack and I have to show my quality. He didn't play in the last test series for South Africa, so he would want to come and show, yes, he belongs there. And we know his quality. Everybody know his quality, but it's just a matter of him now to come and again straight away produce.
And as you mentioned that, just correlating to our West Indies team, as we know the test squad was selected yesterday, the inclusion of Kemar Roach, the most experienced fast bowler who's still available in the test format in the region. And from looking at the West Indies Championship bowling performance and witnessing it firsthand, as Rabada is doing here, speaking to Berger and just offering some insight, Roach, every single over, he was moving from mid-off to mid-off, either side of the wicket, and just keeping in the ears of the fast bowlers, guiding the youngsters, just, you know, offering subtle advice. His personality is not one to impose, but he's such a cool and calm customer, and with his veteran experience, they all look up to him with admiration.
Yeah, definitely, he's a good addition, and I think that they really lack that experience in the bowling. As the over comes to an end, it's 18 for 1 at the end of 5. So it's a good start here from the South Africans in picking up that early wicket of the Centurion from the first inning. You can see it there, Jeremy Solozano, 101 in his first inning. You can see some of the guys. Some maintenance work being done on the stadium here and the academy, Brian Lara Cricket Academy. Some maintenance work being done, and that is good to see. Maintaining this wonderful facility that we have here in South Trinidad. And it's going to be Ngidi to continue from that southern end. And again, that's a wonderful delivery, and he gets that outside edge. Casey Carty has to go. Wonderful catch there from his Rickerton in that third slip region. And that's the end of Casey Carty. We were just talking him up here in the commentary booth. And he went after a wide delivery, you could see, outside that off stump. But again, excellent catch there. You just saw it from Rickerton. And that's the end of Casey Carty. Look at that delivery. It's a wide delivery. He should have left that. But again, he wants to feel that bat on ball. And that's the thing that the batters have to realize with this test match, this format in particular. You don't have to go after everything. People are getting carried away. And I know it's probably not right to draw that relation, but, you know, people get carried away with the pass ball. And, you know, you want to, you know, hit everything, but there's no need to. You have to play proper cricket.
So on that point, Ronnie, as we mentioned prior, Carty was standing on off stump. If you are standing on off stump and that delivery is away from you, at least 2 to 3 stumps distance away from you, it safely could go through to the keeper without any harm in this longer version of the game. And as you mentioned, baseball, if he was playing an attacking shot and got out there, you know, by all means we could have probably seen that he was trying to score quickly, but he literally just hung the bat out there as if he was unsure whether to defend or not. So if you are batting on that off stump, ideally you would want to just leave it alone if it's not going to trouble you. If it's wide enough, feel free to throw your hands at it, play a square cut and try and get it through that vacant position. But to just hang your bat out there and get that outside edge when you know that your stumps are protected, it really wasn't the best shot selection at that stage. But nonetheless, good bowling from Ngidi as the shower is coming down a bit more intense here, Ronnie, and the umpire, even though the sunlight is around, the clouds are really not that grey. I think safety first being the option here.
Yeah, definitely the umpires would look at that. But you could see Keshav Maharaj. He's gesturing to the umpires. Look, it's not that heavy. Why are we going out? And the fielders and the batters walk back into the bench.
And this is really refreshing to see. The players are so interested and keen to be out there that they have told the umpires they are fine.
Yeah, they overrule the umpires and they say, let's play. We want to play cricket.
Right?
Come on.
That's really amazing. I must say kudos to the South African players out there, because we both know that the traditional scene in the Caribbean, at least, is rain stops cricket.
Yeah.
But in modern times, there really is no need, because, again, the excellent drainage, the turf, the outfield is not going to be impacted by that brief shower. It's really and truly just if the players themselves would have been not able to continue due to the persistence.
Yeah.
However, Ngidi, with a soaked shirt nonetheless, is ready to charge back in.
Yeah, and he would be bowling to
Kevin Wickham.
Yes, and very good young player. And he's one of those, we mentioned it on numerous occasions, utility players. He would, if you ask him to take the glove, he will take the glove. If you ask him to bowl off spin, he would bowl off spin. If you ask him to bowl medium pace, he would bowl medium pace. You ask him to bat, he will bat. You ask him to field, he would do whatever you ask him to do. He's one of those players, and he always gives 100. He always gives 100% every time. He's an excellent player. He scores runs, but he don't get those big runs. That's the thing with him. He's not getting those big runs that you would want to move up to the higher, the senior level. But it's an opportunity for him here as he faces up to Ngidi, and this one he's nicely behind it, pushing it into the covers, into the mid-wicket, sorry.
And as you mentioned, that trend, Ronnie, I say trend because it happens with more than one of our West Indian players. They get starts, they show the ability, and they reach that point where it's just to carry on, to pass that initial hurdle. And sometimes that hurdle can be mental, it can be physical, if it's fitness related, if it's injury related, mental in terms of you think sometimes you reach to 30 and your job is done. But when you go towards professional cricket, 30 is the start of your innings. That should be your base.
Correct.
In terms of where you want your average to be at the minimum. And then look to build on that 30, set small milestones for yourselves, bat in partnerships, and understand the context of the game, which is most important.
Yeah, definitely. This one is a little bit wayward down the leg side. So just to look at Wickham and his first-class career, it's 14 matches, 21 innings, 1 not out, 818 runs, a highest of 139, an average of 40.9, which is a decent average.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah? And it's something to work with, 300s and 250s. So he is definitely more than capable.
Of course.
But it's just for him to be a bit more consistent and move up to that higher level, that senior level. So he is one of those players that is more than capable, but it's a perfect opportunity for him here. But he's bowling to Ngidi, who picked up 2 wickets, and that's a loud appeal, and he's gone. Well, that was plumb in front, as plumb as we would like. Wickham was just looking back at that, but there was no doubt, definitely. It just came back into him, full of length delivery, and just swinging back ever so slightly. Let's have a look at it there. Look at it. Just swinging back ever so slightly, and well, that was hitting the middle of middle slot.
But what a delivery though, Ronnie.
Correct.
Because that one nipped back quite some way. In fact, it pitched outside off.
Yeah.
And nipped back into middle, hitting him plumb in front. And it kept a bit low as well. In fact, you can see it hit like the bottom half of the pads of Wickham, and just a bit of disappointment on the face of the young man there. But in fairness to him, deliveries of that nature, sometimes they're really difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see the delivery pitching, and especially coming with a bit of pace Ngidi is generating right now, your reaction time to navigate that ball, he would have probably had to drop his hands extra quickly and allow that want to be defended. But unfortunately, he has to go, and it brings the captain into the crease, Justin Graves.
Yes, and with that, I will take my leave as well. And you would be ably joined by Astel Wren. That I know you would be aware of that voice. You would have seen him on TV a lot, but you're going to have to cope with the voice for now.
Yes, definitely. It's a pleasure to have in the commentary booth today the local legend, Astel Wren, a very much experience and a vast array of knowledge in not just cricket, but all sports in the country, and not only the country, but the region, and by extension, the globe. So how are you this morning, Astel?
Well, thank you so much. Thank you all so much. And good morning to Ronnie. I think I must tip my hat to you. I mean, having had a very good opening session, picked up 3 wickets. So I say, I mean, thank you so much. And Keswa, I mean, thanks again. And welcome. I mean, it is great to be here down at the Brian Laris Academy. It is very good indeed to be here down here. So to all our listeners and our viewers as well, thanks again to be down here. And we are looking at a very good opening session for the South African team. They have done what they came out to do. They wanted to really have a good start, and I think Ngini gave them that. He picked up 3 wickets, and the West Indies Championship 11, well, they are looking down the barrel now, because I mean they can be bowled out before tea time.
Yes, well, I think the decision taken by the South African team overnight to declare, it was a smart one in the sense that most of their premier batsmen were able to get an opportunity out in the middle, and they did have some very positive scores. So at this stage, I believe they wanted to just get some bit of bowling experience and to just test themselves coming back into a 3rd session, so to speak. And Burger will continue here to Chanderpaul, who's still surviving at the crease.
Oh yes, the score is now 18 for 3, and Chanderpaul is at the wicket. I mean, he's trying to get work his way back into the West Indies setup, into that first 11, and I think this is the ideal opportunity for him to really start from this point, to really correct what he wanted, what happened before, and to really look towards regaining his spot on the West Indies team. It will not be a walk in the park for him, an easy walk in the park for him, but he will have to at least spend the time in the middle and spend time, a lot of time, I mean, here in bat against ball.
Yeah, some very good points there, Aston. And as you say that, he plays a very lovely looking cut shot through the offside pass, Adaiva Maharaj at that point position, and goes into the boundary for 4 runs. So lovely looking shot there from Chanderpaul. Just a bit of extra width on offer from Burger, and played a very nice looking cut shot.
Yes, indeed. And when you look, I believe that the outfield is much faster today on the final day of this 4-day warm-up match, because looking at it on yesterday, I mean, a shot like that will have at least gotten them 2 runs, but the ball is traveling a little faster along the carpet, and we are blessed to have brilliant sunshine. Good day for cricket. It's a lovely day for cricket, and I think the South Africans, they're really enjoying themselves because they came here to really have a warm-up match, a practice game, and they're having a practice game.
Oh, and that's a beauty of a delivery from Burger. Now, that's the area he'd want to continue bowling, just before that fullish length, in the corridor of uncertainty, as they like to call it, where the batsman is not sure whether to come forward or stay back. And again, he'd want to bring those slips into play, as he has bowled a couple deliveries on occasion that have deceived the left-handed batsman. Just needs to probably consistently keep with that line and encourage them to play to get an edge. As we see, the rainfall is still a bit persistent, but the players are not dismayed at all. They really want to be out there and enjoy this experience.
Exactly. I mean, they want to really stay out in the middle, because that is where they know that they have to spend some time in the middle, because the test match starts next week on Wednesday at the Queen's Park Oval, and they want to be really ready for that opening test match. And just speaking a little on Burger, I mean, he is bowling in on that line of uncertainty. He's doing it well. I mean, but my heart goes out to him because he hasn't picked up a wicket as yet, has he?
No.
And I mean, and that tells you. I mean, despite sometimes the figures doesn't tell the true story of a bowler's performance and what he's really doing, because this man, this opening spell here, is quite a good spell. I mean, he's been there around bowling in the corridor of uncertainty. He has been having some sideways movements, and he hasn't picked up anything as yet.
And that's another one short outside the off stump, but a tumbling dive from the skipper, Temba Bavuma, to restrict any runs scored off of that delivery. And I think, as you mentioned, Berger has been bowling really well, and all of the wickets have come from the other end with Ngidi. And it's just a testament to the fact of bowling in partnerships, as to when one bowler is creating pressure, he may not get wickets, but the other bowler would benefit from it, because once you keep that pressure constant at both ends of the wicket, it would be ideal if both bowlers can get wickets and then the side would be dismissed easily. But sometimes, it's just how the game goes in terms of the momentum.
Oh yes, indeed. That's a good delivery again, and Chanderpaul just came forward and
Missed out on that one, a low full toss.
A low full toss. He should have made maximum use of it, but it went straight back to the bowler, and there was no run. But just to take up on that thought on which you are talking about there, it's true. Fast bowlers must perform in pairs. They must hunt in pairs, because sometimes your partner is getting the wickets, but you are keeping things tight, very tight. It is so important that fast bowlers hunt in pairs, they bowl in pairs. One, if things are happening at both ends, but one must keep it tight. One must keep the pressure on, because, as they say in local terms, pressure does burst the pipe.
Yes, we know that very well, not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but across all of the islands in our lovely Caribbean. And I'm sure even in South Africa as well, for those of our viewers who are looking on, there's an equivalent expression whereby constant pressure leads to some positive effect.
Exactly, and we see Guinea there. He's really putting in the work this morning. I mean, he's bending his back because he knows that he has to have that some miles and some wickets under his belt before the first test gets going against the West Indies at the Oval next week. And he's been doing that. He picked up 3 wickets so far, and he looks good. I mean, it was a terrible shot by Casey Carter, because that ball was way outside the off stump. He could have allowed it to go, but he just hung the bat out, and he gave the tail slip an easy catch. But barring that, the next 2 wickets, I mean, Solozano, he questioned his dismissal, but the rest of the other one was a brilliant delivery that this boy faced. Wickham here. Wickham got one that pitched and really moved into him. He came forward. He didn't make that big stride, and he was hit plumb in front, and the umpire had no other decision but to raise his hand. We see at this time maybe there is some work being done at the popping crease, at the bowling crease, where maybe El Guinea is landing there, and he isn't too comfortable how he's coming down.
Yeah, we can just see from the review on our screen here, right where the popping crease is, it seems to be a little bit of an indentation. And when Ngidi landed on that delivery, he instantly just walked away with a bit of a limp. Thankfully nothing too serious, because he probably didn't land as he would have liked to, or the balance was not there due to the uneven surface. Just approaching it a bit more cautiously at this time. You can see his left foot actually landed wider of the spot, and he's just smoothing it out a bit to ensure that there's no further slippage. At this stage, definitely he doesn't want to risk any injury leading up to that test match Wednesday at the Queen's Park Oval. You can see from the replay. And when you're running at that speed as well, sometimes the slightest bit of shift, sometimes there can be a bit of extra dust on the pitch or whatnot, just causing your foot to miscue.
It's true, and plus too, I mean, in Guinea, he's a big man, he's a heavy man,
Yes.
a man,
Muscle.
Yeah. So I mean, once he comes down there and the things isn't right, there can be some injury concerns.
And that's a well played there from Greaves. quick single. And just a wry smile on the face of the fielder as they didn't want a single to be conceded there, but just had a slip as he went down to the ball. Maybe that a bit of rainfall just allowing a little bit of gloss on the field itself.
Exactly, and I mean the score moves on to 23 for 3 after 7.3 overs. So I think South Africa, they are keeping things very, very quiet. They are really enjoying the better of the exchanges at this time, because Chandler Paul is 12 from 27 deliveries, and plus you have Justin Graves. Well, he just came in, he just had a one, he just got off the mark there. So you find that the groundsman is looking after that portion of the popping crease that that Ngini has been complaining about, or at least wants to have it fixed before he comes in to bowl his next delivery. But it has been a very good morning's play indeed in favor of the Torrent team.
Yeah, so the Torrent team has certainly take advantage of any opportunities on offer, and getting 3 wickets thus far in this first session of play is the start that they would have wanted. And just to give you a reminder, as the groundsmen are fixing those uneven areas of the pitch, the scores thus far in this game, you know that in the first innings the West Indies Championship 11 made 397 all out, a top score of 131 from Shamar Springer, Jeremy Solozano with 111, and a 50 from Joshua Bishop, as well as 30 odd from Amir Jangu, and 2 sets of 24 from Justin Greaves and Casey Carty. In the South Africa first innings, there were a number of half centuries scored, leading from the top 8. Markram got to 82, Temba Bavuma, the captain, 51, David Bellingham, 74, Ryan Rickleton, 80, Kyle Verren, 65, and notably each of the batsmen from South Africa that got a half century retired out thereafter. And it was just to give the exposure for all of the batsmen to get an opportunity out there in the middle. So they reached the 408 and declared overnight, and came back out this morning to have a bowl.
And that's right, as we're looking at Ngini against Chandler Paul, and there was some question being asked in this delivery. Chandler Paul had it, I wasn't too comfortable with it, but as we said before, the South Africans, they came here for a practice game. They came to execute what they have in mind and the plans that they're looking at before the first test match, and they have been able, because they bowled the championship 11 out in the first innings, and they are doing well in the second innings. And the batsmen have all done well. They have retired, haven't gone past 50. So you see they are executing well. The plans are going as they wanted to go.
And that's well played, in fact, from Chandler Paul. Just outside the off stump, and may have been tempted to probably get some bat to ball, as we saw with the dismissal of Carty. This is probably what he should have done, as Chandler Paul did there. Just see the line of the ball, know where you're batting on your off stump, and safely leave it if there's no reason to play. As we see a shot of Shamar Springer in the dugout, I'm sure he'd be looking forward if he gets another opportunity to get out there in the middle. A very classy knock he had in the first innings.
Definitely a classy innings indeed, and I believe he's looking forward to it, but not too excited, because he wants those in the middle to really have time to settle down against these 2 fast bowlers, and to really build an innings and take the West Indies out and take the championship 11 out of any danger that they are now facing. The score is now 23 for 3 of 8 overs, or 7.4 overs. I'm seeing here 8 overs.
8 overs have been completed.
Yeah, 8 overs have been completed. So 23 for 3. It is what I believe that the championship 11, they will be looking at it to really build on to try to at least come back from where they are at this time. And I believe the 2 men in the middle, Taser and Chandler Paul and Justin Grave, they will be looking to really have a good partnership, a long partnership, bat in the middle to keep the Wolves out, because this South African team, they might be looking to win this game to really go into the first test match with at least a victory under the belt. But it is long, a long way off, and we are looking at maybe the first change or of the morning after 8 overs. The man who has been given the ball. Let's see.
Yes, answer. It looks like Pretorius.
Pretorius, yes. It indeed. Pretorius is 50. Yes.
Yes, it definitely is Pretorius. Yes, the brother of Dwayne, who's playing in the GT20 at the moment.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I mean, so often you have that happening. Brothers playing the same sport and discipline. You know, we had well, of recent vintage, we have Brian and Dwayne and
Darren.
And Darren.
Yeah.
And then we had Brian and Charlie Davis before.
Right.
And then we have so many brothers play. You know, so many. If you look down in Australia, you had the Chopper brothers, and then you go across to New Zealand, you had the Crow brothers, and then Zimbabwe had Flower brothers.
Yes.
So at least
the War brothers from Australia as well.
And the War brothers,
Yeah.
very, very good players indeed.
Yeah.
Steve and Mark War, you couldn't ask for two better players than that. So at least outside here now, I believe again we are looking at some concerns at the popping crease, at the bowling crease, because the bowlers are not too comfortable, and Pistorius is a big man. I don't know what they are doing in South Africa, but every time they come on tour, they always come with some huge guys, some big guys. You know, the last time they came here with Andrew Nell was he was a really big man, and he really created some noise down here.
Yes, this one get a bit of bounce. He's also a tall man, so he would extract some extra bounce here, as you saw there with that delivery. And that's what you'll get. And as you mentioned it, you are really correct. They are big guys, they are tall guys, so they will get some extra bounce of the wicket. So that delivery just sort of a good length where you would expect it to come normal to play a back foot punch or so. You will get a bit more from it with these guys. As you can see, look at that. That's a full-length delivery. The keeper collects it almost chest height.
Exactly. And I believe that on today's play, I mean, the ball is doing, the wicket has a little more life. Normally, a wicket gets slower and drier as the game progresses. But on this occasion, we are seeing that the ball is, there's some freshness in the wicket. I don't know where it came from, because there was some rain around, but it's looking good.
That's a wonderful delivery, just beating the outside edge of that bat. So he played down the line, but the ball held its line, as you could see, and just passed that outside edge. Look at that. He played for the ball to come back in. It just held its line a bit and just beating the outside edge. What a delivery there.
Exactly. I mean, a wonderful delivery. It is a fast bowler's dream to bowl these type of deliveries, and I believe Pistorius, he is enjoying this opening spell.
Definitely. As again, this one, and Greaves, is it Greaves? Yes.
Yes, Greaves.
Full
Yes.
forward to this one. He's the skipper of the side, so he has some work to do here to steer the ship a bit. They are in a bit of bother, 23 for 3 at the end of 9, but he would need to form a partnership here with Chandra Paul, and we know Chandra Paul, he will take his time. He's not going to be going out really looking for the runs. If it's there to hit, he will hit it. But Greece has to now support him. They have to try and look to rotate the strike. Get a little single every now and then, 2-3 runs on over, rotate the strike, left hand, right hand combination. We know it always poses some sort of difficulty for the bowlers. So they have to do whatever is necessary to put the pressure back on the South African bowlers.
Yes, indeed, because I mean the score is just 23 for 3, and they will be looking to build a solid partnership, and the South Africans will be looking to really pick up more wickets and to press home that advantage. And you mentioned to the rotation of the strike. That is so important when you're up against good, tight, clean, good bowling. You need to rotate the strike ever so often.
Yeah, definitely you want to do that. This one again, a good length delivery, so it's a change in bowling. It's Patterson, sorry. Yes, it's Patterson from that southern end. He would be taking up the attack from that southern end, replacing Ngidi, who bowled an excellent spell this morning. Just trying to look for his figures. It's 4 overs, 3 for 8 in that spell of his. Excellent from him. Removing the top order pretty much from the West Indies Championship 11.
Well, that is the type of opening spell you want from your first call or your opening fast bowler, and Giddy did exactly that. And this is one from Patterson that went down the leg side. The keeper had a wonderful take. He went with it, but there was some question being asked if there was a tickle, but there was none. So Chanderpaul lives to fight another day. But as you mentioned before, you need to rotate the strike. You need to pick up the 2s and the 3s and don't just look for the boundaries, but you need to really push the ball around to have the bowlers thinking and have the ball, because right now there's a left and a right combination. Chanderpaul is left and Justin Greaves is right. So at least to have the bowlers thinking well of having a different length and line to bowl to, as we see Patterson comes in again to Taylor and Chanderpaul.
This one is a good length delivery, pushing it into the covers. Well, we've seen it's Patterson, but is that Mulder?
Let's see if it could be Mulder. Let's see.
I think it's Mulder.
Mulder is 24?
Yeah.
Is Mulder, yes.
Well, the name on the T-shirt is Patterson.
Patterson.
But I think Dane Patterson, I think he's the spin bowler for the team.
Yeah, correct. Dane Patterson.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it looked like Mulder.
Yeah, it seemed to be
Mulder.
Mulder.
It is Mulder. You see how complicated it gets when a player wears another player's number. Yes, 42. Yeah, but that is Patterson.
It's in Patterson.
Yeah, it's in Patterson. But we know it's Mulder because Mulder is a medium fast.
Well, we'll have to go with the name of the T-shirt. So,
at least.
Yes, so we'll go with the name of the T-shirt. It's Patterson, right?
Yes. So Patterson, okay. Let's go with that for the time being. As Patterson comes in to bowl to Taylor and Chanderpaul. Let's see Chanderpaul. A lovely drive indeed, but straight to the fieldsman at extra cover. So there's no run there. But it was a good opening session for South Africa, a tight one for the Championship 11. But let us talk a little about the West Indies, the team, that the 15-man squad. I am in total agreement with most of all the players I'm seeing here. But I also think that they could have included. My heart goes out to Jeremy Solozano. Because having put on a wonderful test, a wonderful 100. He didn't even, his name wasn't among those that they wanted to.
And it's sad too. I mean, the fact that he didn't get. I mean, it's probably not for us to talk about.
Yes.
But his opportunity when he was on debut had that injury, that concussion injury, and he was out. So it's. I mean, he's really working his way. He had some good scores.
Yes.
In the 4-day championship. And he also, at the end of 10 overs, before I continue, it's 23 for 3. So he had some good scores in the championship leading up to this match, and then he got an 100 in that opening day. And it was, as mentioned before, against a world-class attack. The
Yes.
likes of Ngidi, Rabada, Burger, Keshav Maharaj. These are world-class bowlers, and to get 100 there, it's really good.
Exactly. I mean, when you got three figures against a bowling attack like this, then you know that things are working. That your composition, your technique is quite good, and you're up against a good fast bowling attack. Maybe second to none in the world, and you happen to come away with 111. I think you in good stead. He didn't get any much in the second innings, but these things do happen. It takes one ball to take you out, and but he been there in the first innings. He batted well, and he faced the best set of fast bowlers you have in the world, some of the best.
Yeah.
So at least I thought they could have given him a little looking, but the selectors thought otherwise.
Again, it's Pretorius to continue.
Yes.
From this media center end, and he's bowling really well. I have to give him credit. He hasn't conceded a run as yet, but he has kept that ball just outside, all on about that off-stump line, on a good length, beaten the outside edge a couple times, and you could see Graves here, just getting full forward. He wants to negate whatever movement there is, and he's trying to get forward to avoid that LBW decision as well. So this is good from Graves, but again, excellent bowling from the South African. They have really stuck to their task in this first session here, and they have bowled really well.
Yes, indeed, and they have used the conditions, because the wicket to me seemed to have a little life in it. They maintain the length and line as they want, and they're leaving it up to the ball to do the rest. So Pistorius again in the bowl to Graves, another good deliveries, forcing him on the front foot, bringing him right there as he pushes this one to mid-off. So there's no run again. So the score remains at 23 for 3 of a 10.3 overs. So it's been a tough go for the Championship 11 for the West Indies champion.
Championship 11.
In the championship, very tough morning indeed, and I don't think they thought they would have been under so much pressure.
Well, the good thing about it is that they lead by 12 runs.
Exactly.
They
yes,
are in front.
Yes,
Let's put it this way. They are in front in the game situation. They are in front. They lead by 12 runs. So that's a positive in the hindsight of things. 23 for 3 is not the situation they wanted to be. But again, it is a good thing that they have wiped off the lead. And this pair now seems to be really looking to settle down. Pretorius again just keeping that ball outside the off stump. That one came back in, but didn't came back enough. And at the end of that over, I believe it's the drinks break. Yes, it's the hour mark. So we are going to have the drinks break at this point in time. As you can see, the third umpire just walking out there with some refreshments for the umpires, and now we can see the other players. They are just going outside there. You can see the third umpire. And so at the end of 11 overs, it's 23 for 3. We will take a little break here, have a little drink ourselves, water, hopefully, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Yes, and we're back here at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. It's the first hour of play have passed. The West Indies, remember initially the South Africans, they declared their innings at the beginning of the morning's play. So they ended up on 408 for 9 declared. And the West Indies Championship 11, they started to bat. They lost early wickets in terms of Jeremy Solozano, Casey Carty, and recently Wickham. All back in the shed, and they are on their spot of bother. 23 for 3. We saw some excellent bowling from Ngidi in particular, picking up all 3 wickets. And at the moment, as it stands, the West Indies Championship 11, 23 for 3, but they lead by 12 runs.
Yes, at least you have a lead, so you will not be. At least the fielding team will be required to come out and bat if you're being bowled out. But as you said before, the bowlers have had the first hour honors, and they've been doing exceedingly well against this West Indies Championship 11. The South African bowlers, they enjoyed the morning session. They've really been doing well, and I believe the cricket was very tight, very intense, and just a pity that there were no spectators on the ground to really see this type of cricket. This is what they call first-class cricket. It's about, red ball cricket. Seeing the players in white and seeing the intensity, seeing the batsmen battle against bat and ball, seeing that struggle. Some people really, really would have enjoyed it and appreciated it.
Yeah, so it's Patterson continuing from that solid end. It's a quick single, yes, and we're off and running in this second hour of play. And that's a good piece of work from the captain himself, Bavuma there in that that short mid-on position, and he quickly came across and they got through for the single in the end. But this is good. They probably would have spoke about it in that little break there, rotation of strike, because we saw Greaves was bogged down on one end with Pretorius just bowling constantly outside of off stump to him, and similar with Patterson on the southern end bowling constantly to Tejana and Chanapal. So they need to rotate that strike, put the bowler off a bit. Now the bowler has to bowl to a right-hander, so he has to change his line, he has to change his length, and well, he's bang on target.
Exactly. And he's been doing exceedingly well doing that against this West Indies Championship batsman. And I believe that Chanderpaul, he looks very determined. He looks like if he wants a big score. He had his early moments where he been playing and maybe missing sometimes, but he wants to get a good score, and I believe as the time progresses and as his inning goes on, he will be able to he will grow in confidence, and we will see maybe once he lasts that long, we'll see a solid knock from him.
Yeah, and that's the key there, staying out in the middle. That's the only way you can score runs, by being out in the middle. That's the only way you can get confidence, by being out in the middle, feeling the bat onto the ball. Yeah, it's totally different when you're in the nets, when you're having a net session or practice, but actually match practice, being out there scoring runs, and this is exactly what he needs. Look at this now. We see a change in field. There's a short mid-on fielder just by the non-striker there. Again, just to put off the batter a bit, trying something different, because they realize that Justin Graves is just looking to come onto the front foot, either push the ball back to the bowler or into the onside to look for a single. So they are trying to counteract that now by putting that fielder there. This is good thinking from the South Africans.
Good captaincy. They call that a good, excellent captaincy, because sometimes you allow the game to go on, but then sometimes the captain has to make things happen, and that phrase is very common. You must make things happen,
yep.
And by putting that man there, I think the batsman is thinking now what is going to happen with the next ball.
Yeah, where he's going to get. And this is another excellent delivery, just short of a length, outside that off stump, beating the bat once more. So again, Justin Graves is having a lot of problem with that delivery just outside that off stump, just moving away slightly from him. So he has to be very careful of that, because you know, with all the technology now, everybody is going to be looking at that. And he will be under the microscope. Yes, we're going to have to bowl him outside that channel and see what happens.
Oh, yes, and that channel is a very, very, very. I remember a fellow called Eldon Batiste for West Indies. He won the Player of the Series some years ago, playing in the regional tournament. He spoke about that. He bowled in the corridor of uncertainty,
yeah.
and he picked up a lot of wickets. I mean, because batsmen don't like that ball just on or outside the off stump, because they must know exactly where your off stump is. And if you don't know where it is, you tend to be feeling, you tend to be second guessing yourself, and that caused a lot of confusion in the minds of some of the batsmen. And Dale Patterson have been doing exceedingly there.
Well, this is now a different challenge here for Torres. He's now bowling to the left-handed channel pole, but again, bang on target, just outside that off stump, that fourth, fifth stump, and just have the ball move away from the left-hander. So you could see here the South Africans, the Indian mind, they are focused and they know what they are about. You could see Patterson there, just taking a bit of drink in between his overs. But you can see they have clear plans and they know where they want to put the ball, and they have been putting the ball in that general area, and it have brought them rewards.
Exactly, they have done their home lesson, their homework. They have done what they wanted to do, and the backroom staff. You see, that staff that is which is not on the field of play, they are very important. When you have them doing the work outside, analyzing the batsmen, and they will be able to tell the captain Bavuma, listen, this is what we see here. We are seeing something here. You can work on this, you can work on that, and he himself will be able to be a much more a workman-like captain. I mean, to where he will be able to make things happen.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Again, this one, a bit of extra bounce, but it was on that leg stump line, and Chandra Paul was good enough to work it off the hips and pick up another single. But just looking at that previous delivery where Chandra Paul, you can see with that full length delivery, he tends to come across. The bat generally tends to go across the ball with an open face, and he basically slices the ball into that point or cover region. And if you are not in control, because of the fact that that bat is coming across the ball, you tend to hit it in the air. And that's where he has some problems. He has to work on that. This time Greaves, full forward, showing the maker's name there. Excellent from him.
Yeah, Graves is displaying solid defense. I mean, when he's up against Pistorius, and he's showing that. But just to mention a little about Chandra Paul, I mean, that is one of his deficiencies as a batsman, and I believe he's been working hard on it, because that's why he wasn't retained for the English tour after going to Australia. And I believe he's back here home now, and he'll be working on that deficiency. We are seeing it. We are seeing some of it, but I believe he's trying his best to really get that bat in line with the ball, and get his feet moving, and everything lines up well. Because once he makes a mistake, that could be the end of him.
Yeah, definitely. But so it's just a few technical flaws that he needs to work on here. But again, it's Petrus. This one is driven straight down the ground, looking for a single, which is not there.
Oh, yes.
For a run out.
Exactly, and Chandler Paul seemed to be ball watching, because that one went past him, and Graves, maybe he didn't call him. He came down he came down as a freight train and then stopped and went back. But it so happened that the return wasn't direct, and it gave him a chance to survive that run out chance. So at least I think the West Indies Championship 11 would not like to lose a wicket via the run out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And that day, you have to say Chandra Paul was guilty of ball watching.
Yes.
But it wasn't a single as such. The fielder, I think was Maharaj, he covered the ball well, and there wasn't really a chance of a run. But and in this situation, yes, you want to try and rotate the strike, but it's the last ball of the over. There's no need. You already lost 3 wickets. There's no need for that sort of, running and giving a wicket basically to the South Africans. So in the end, good sense prevailed. No wicket.
No wickets.
And it's going to be Patterson again from that southern end. Chanderpaul, and they're looking for a second here, and this is good. So you see, since the drinks break, a bit of urgency in terms of the running between the wickets in particular. Yes, it almost led to a run out, but you could see that sense of urgency. They're looking for the single, looking to rotate the strike, which is exactly what you spoke of earlier.
Excellent indeed. I mean, because the sun is out in all its glory now. It is really bright from what we had earlier on the first hour's play, and the players should be enjoying that. But you mentioned that the batsmen they are looking to convert those singles into twos, and I believe Justin Graves, who is the captain of this team, he is well aware of it, and he knows that he has to really rotate his strike to get out of a firing line.
This one is a loud appeal from the bowler. This one just angling into the right-handed Graves. Not able to get any bat onto it. Hitting the pad, but it seemed to be going down the leg side. Let's have a look at it here on the replay. Yeah, it seemed to be going down. He shuffled across onto that middle stump. But I think with the angle of the delivery, it seemed to be going down the leg side. With some doubt, obviously, the umpire would not give it.
Exactly. The score moves on to 27 for 3, and Justin Graves, he's on 1. He's still on 1. I mean,
of 25 deliveries.
Yeah. And Chanderpaul, well, he's on 15. He is picking up the singles, picking up the twos, and maybe a boundary early on in his innings. But we look at the action again.
This one is driven straight back to the bowler. Good bit of fielding in his follow through there. And there's no run. But you could see some genuine intent by the batters now to try and see if they can get some runs. I mean, only 27 runs scoring in that first hour, which is not bad considering they lost 3 wickets. But you want to be scoring a little bit more. But you have to give credit to the bowlers. They have done an excellent job in terms of that line on length where it was difficult for the batters. Just beating the outside edge a lot. So it's Patterson again, bang on target, just as we saw in his previous over to the left-hander. But Chanderpaul looking good, looking solid. And just as you mentioned before, he looks like he wants to stay there and get a big score. And you want to see more of this from him.
I hope so. I hope that this young man really goes on to get a nice score. But as you said, what's happening now is that there is pressure, and pressure tends to bring on some mistakes by the batsmen, in particular the batsmen, because they will be able, they want to get things going, they want to rotate the strike, but the pressure, these South Africans are really applying the pressure, and they are squeezing these West Indian batsmen.
Okay, another shot for LBW. Well, no ball signaled by the umpire. Well, just overstepping there was Patterson. And you could see again, look at that. Yeah, it's no ball, but look like a pitch outside the leg stump as well in that appeal. But no ball signal, so he has to be careful of that. We know the bowlers are having some trouble with that end.
Yes, the bowlers are really having some problems where they're landing that left leg once they are bowling right arm over the wicket. So there are some problems there, but a no ball is a no ball.
Definitely. We saw earlier there Rabada just doing some warm-ups. Maybe he would be into the attack sooner rather than later. We said that earlier on, and he did not bowl. He did not come in first change on either end.
No, because he had a very good first innings workout, and I believe that they don't want to overwork him. They want to really look after his health, because he was here for the ICC T20 World Cup,
yeah.
And I mean, and he has been around for quite a while, so they need to really handle him very carefully. And this game, having had a very extensive bowl in the first innings. I think he may bowl second innings, but when they're ready for him.
Yeah, at the moment the bowlers have been doing an excellent job, so there's no need for him really to come and bowl. The bowlers have put the batters under enormous pressure. At the end of 14 overs, it's 28 for 3.
Yes, and I mean you can feel the pressure because we are some distance off, and you can feel the pressure out there because looking at the scorecard is 28 runs and loss of 3 wickets. It means that the fielding team is totally in control, and the captain Bavuma, he is really switching around his bowlers, and he is trying things. He's bringing in, he's changing the field. He's playing on the minds of the batsmen. So at least to make things happen. So you find that South Africa, they are in control and they are large and in charge.
I like that. I like that. Large and in charge. Here at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, you heard it from the man himself. So the South Africans are large and in charge on day 4 here of this 4-day match. And we have a first sight of spin. So it's Keshav Maharaj. He's going to take up the attack from the media center end, and he in his first spell yeah, and again bang on target is the South African, and he himself was here for that he himself was here for that T20 World Cup, but in his first innings, he bowled 25 overs, picked up 2 wickets for 82. Was a bit expensive, economy of 3.28, but still picking up 2 wickets on a first day pitch, it is pretty good. First and second day pitch.
Oh yes, I look forward to see him again. I mean, to see him in this innings against because it's a different scenario, a different day, a different time, and he's up against some different batsmen with a different mindset. Here he is. I think he has been introduced at the right time because the batsmen are not all that. They don't have that attacking propensity. They don't have that attacking mindset. So at least to bring him in now is a good time to see what the wicket has and what he can do against Graves and Chanderpaul.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The batters under some pressure, looking to release the pressure. There was Graves, a pitch stop delivery, and he was looking to hoik this one over that mid-wicket region. There's no one on the boundary on that leg side, so all he has to do really is just get that ball over the infield, and he's going to pick up runs or even a boundary. This time it's a full-length delivery, and they get through for the single safely. But it was a good shot from Graves. All he had to do was just try to get it over the infield, but probably he was looking to hit it too hard, looking to go for a 6 and didn't make contact. At the end of a good over there from Maharaj, at the end of 15, it's 29 for 3.
29 for 3, and South Africa, well, they continue to call the shots. They continue to execute all the plans they have in mind leading into the first test match against the West Indies next week at the Queen's Park Oval, and they are doing an exceedingly good job. But you have Graves. I like what I see of Justin Graves. I like how he's getting behind the ball. I like how he is pushing the ball. I mean, his defense seemed to be very, very tight, and he seemed to be a good player. I mean, from what we have, his record has shown that. But I like what I'm seeing of him. And Chanderpaul, he's a fighter. He'll be fighting all the way. And I think there's a double change of spin bowling because there's you have Maharaj just completed his, and the new man is
Dane Pete.
So South Africa now, they have gone into full spin attack. Let's see what they can do, having had the fast bowlers done their morning session and their job.
Yeah, definitely the fast bowlers definitely did their job in picking up 3 early wickets. This one down the leg side and worked away nicely by Graves, and it goes all the way close to the boundary. Well saved by Maharaj, and they pick up 2 runs. they should have been looking for three there. I think it was really slow to the boundary. They should have been looking for three, but they were comfortable with two, and the total moves on to 29 for three.
So Jane Pete again. Let's see what he can do. This is a good. This is. I mean, you can see, you can look at the captain and see that he's really thinking. He wants to really give all his bowlers, his spin bowlers, his fast bowlers, his medium fast men, a good workout, and they've been having that.
This one is in the air through the mid wicket, and Giddy chases this one, and he hauls it in just about a meter or two before the boundary, and they get two more. So runs starting to flow a bit here for the West Indies Championship 11. Graves now, he moves on to 5 with that second two.
Yeah, and when you're batting in the middle, I mean, when there's a nice song of ball on the bat, and you're being able to turn around singles and get the twos and maybe a boundary, there is so much less pressure upon you, so much less pressure, and you feel much more confident about your ability to stay in the middle and to bat for long periods.
Also, on the other flip side of it, it puts pressure on the bowlers now, because in 3 deliveries you have gone for 4 runs. So you now have to try and pull back the over. So the bowler now starts thinking, where am I going to bowl? Where am I going to create problems? Where am I going to create a dot ball? So it starts to put pressure on the bowler, and maybe they will bowl a bad ball, and you can capitalize on it.
Well, that's the main essence of being when you're patient, when you stay focused as a batsman, you will get a bad ball now and here and there. And once you get a bad ball, you make use of it. You maximum use of it. That means that the pressure will be eased off your shoulders. And I believe I'm sensing when I'm looking at these two spin bowlers coming into the attack. I believe that Graves and Chandler Paul, they seem to be getting ball onto the bat, a bat onto ball much often than they did against the faster bowlers. So they will feel a little more comfortable and a little more freer to play their shots. Let's see what happens now.
Yes, so Keshav Maharaj, he would continue from the media end. He would continue from the media end here. And his first over was an excellent over, but he would be bowling to the left-handed Chandapal, and well, he's going to generally be bowling the ball into Chandapal, so he would fancy himself here, probably a couple sweep shots. This time he's looking for the sweep, but it's a bit shorter than he expected. Changed really well and played it onto the onside.
Yes, Maharaj, but he's bowling left arm over the wicket, and he's bowling to a left-handed batsman. So let's see, and Chandler Paul makes a few steps down the wicket. A long time I haven't seen batsmen doing that, coming down the wicket, I mean dancing down the wicket. But he has decided that, I mean, it's now or never, and I'm going to be here for a long while. So it seemed to me like if the things are getting much easier now, seeing that the ball is coming onto the bat, they're hearing that sweet song of bat hitting ball.
There did not seem to be much spin out there. Probably getting a little spin. You could see with that last delivery, a bit of spin away from the right-hander, but it not seem to be that prodigious swing you would expect from a 4-day pitch. But it seemed to be a bit, not much really. But the batters, as you rightly say, seem to handle it very well. They seem to be more comfortable with the spinners on at the moment. And Chandrapur, we saw the one ball he was on the back foot looking to play. The next ball he was quickly down the wicket, driving it down the ground. So this is good to see that initiative being taken by the batters here, trying to score and push the total on.
Oh yes, indeed. There isn't much spin, as you rightfully point out, even much side movements from the spinners or even bounce. But and the batsmen, they are quite comfortable to come on the front foot, to go back on the back foot, and the bounce of the ball is quite even, quite what they would like to be facing. So at this time, I take my leave and I introduce to you, I bring back the illustrious guest.
Yes, yes, thank you very much, Ansel Wren, for that stint. And as we said before, you're accustomed seeing him on TV, but it's good to hear him at times. But as I say, welcome back, Keshav, not Keshav Maharaj, but Keshav Bahadur Singh.
Thanks for that introduction, Roddy. An excellent work there from Astel and yourself, taking us through those previous overs as we saw the introduction of spin into the attack. Keshav Maharaj and Dane Pete. As the rain has resumed upon my resumption of commentary, I hope that's not going to be synonymous.
Well,
Oh, what a soft dismissal there, Ronnie. Just as we were talking about Chandapur previously getting himself in, that was essentially a low full toss down the leg side, and instead of sweeping it convincingly or playing that shot with more force, he paddled it straight to the fielder at that backward square position. Look at this, Ronnie. What a soft dismissal for someone who has been at the crease for quite some time and seemed to be playing more convincing shots of recent.
yeah, that's very disappointing, and you could see he's very disappointed in that shot as well. And the field was set for that. They had that fielder there, that 45, waiting for that shot, or the sweep shot that really got the top edge. And he played it straight to the man. He didn't have to move. He just had to shift to his left, and he took an easy catch. It's a second catch for Rickerton, and he was happy.
And it's a low full toss down the leg side. That's the baffling aspect for me in terms of those sort of deliveries. You'd want to put as much force as you can and just sweep that ball away. If even you're not playing a traditional sweep shot, any sort of a type of stroke to get that one to the boundary, because it certainly, if it could not have gone onto the stumps, could not have gone onto the pads, the only way he could have been out there is exactly how he was dismissed. And with the dismissal of Chandapur, fortunately going there soft off the bowling of Dane Pete, it brings local, and apart from being a local boy, he has played in the regional circuit as well, had a couple of stints with the Leeward Islands in the 4-day format, and very capable wicketkeeper batsman is Django.
Yeah, definitely. And this season he played with the Red Force. He had a good season. He had a couple good scores. And
A double hundred, in fact, as well.
Correct.
Out at UE St. Augustine. A very impressive innings was that.
yeah, his first class career thus far. This one is worked away just for an easy single by him, so he's off and running. And so far his first class 35 matches, 62 innings, 6 not out, 1909 runs, and the highest of 218, which you mentioned, came this season playing for the Red Force, an average of 34. As a keeper, it's not a bad average, but you would want to get that up. And 100, that 218, and 12 50s. So 12 50s is good, but it's the problem in converting that, converting the 50s into 100. And I always mention, a commentator always said, it's not about scoring 50s, it's about scoring big hundreds. When you score big hundreds, everybody would remember that. Just as you said, you remember the 200 that he scored.
Yeah.
So when you score that big runs, they would remember that, and your name would be on the selectors list. So you need to score that big 100, not just 50, not just 60, but big hundreds, and that's the only way you could get yourself into that senior team. So he has done pretty well, but he needs to be a bit more consistent. And that's the problem with most of the West Indies players of recent, that consistency. You're not seeing that. And I remember someone was mentioning about the senior players. So the players who came back from the test setup into the regional 4Ds, and they did not perform. You were supposed to be dominating the likes of Greaves, who is currently there as captain of this team. But they did not dominate when they came back into the 4D setup. You as a test cricketer coming back into this setup, you have to dominate the cricket because you are a class above these people.
Very true.
You
Very
are
true.
a test player, and that's what we're not seeing with these with the current. And this is a push forward. No, it just came off the pad. Well, the fielders
The celebration.
they were celebrating, but the Keshaf Maharaj, the bowler, he wasn't even thinking about appealing. Look at that. He just
Yeah.
turned around to look at the umpire.
The replay clearly showed a care of the pad. The wicketkeeper comically was already running forward to
Yeah.
celebrate with the fielder's short leg.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned just now, Ronnie, all extremely valid points in terms of being able to carry on from those starts and to show your caliber. If you are selected for the international test team, you have to set an example to the rest of the players in the regional circuit. As Maharaj continues, and that one was defended by the fielder at short leg. I don't think he even attempted to catch that. Hence the reason I said defended, because he wanted to make sure he didn't get damaged. As you
Yeah,
can
it came off the pads. It came off the shin pads that he has on.
Yes, interesting long barrier there.
It did the job.
Yeah, of course it did.
It did the job.
Most
At the end-
important.
Yes, at the end of the day. So this is another couple of runs here for Amir Jangu, and he is another one would want to get a good score. Didn't really had a good time of it in that first innings, I believe. If I could just pull the score, yeah, just scored 30.
30, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, echoing the sentiments you just expressed, reaching to a point where you have to carry on. Having scored a double century in the first class season, having scored several half centuries, reaching the 30 should be your baseline, and look to improve on that continuously. As you see, I saw the defense from him there, but for someone with such immense talent and capabilities as Amir Jangu, and he's still relatively young, so he has played quite a number of first class matches, as well as we know he features for the Red Force in the 4-day and the limited overs format, the 50 overs version,
Yeah.
and trying to bring on the sweep shot there, but again missing out. We know as well, Ronnie, he plays the T10 format, the T20 format. He has a lot of variety of shots on display and likes to be aggressive, but it's just to balance that aggression and that sensibility when batting in the longer formats of the game to carry on for long versions of your own personal innings.
And there you can see the management, the backroom staff of the South African team. They're pretty happy with what is going on at the moment. The team, well, with the West Indies Championship 11, 37 for 4. So the South African, as Ansel Wren mentioned, they are large and in charge here.
Of course, and I was having a chat with a couple of those persons on screen just now, just in terms of their experience in Trinidad and Tobago thus far, how have they enjoyed it, and they said they really love to be in Trinidad and Tobago. A couple of them were here for the T20 World Cup,
Right.
and after we see this delivery from Pete, where Greaves is fortunate enough to get a single, tucked past that short leg fielder, and they were saying, Ronnie, that they wish they had a bit more time to experience the beauty of the country, because the schedule is so packed. When they were here in the T20 World Cup, I believe there was really no off days for any of the teams, being a World Cup event. And then now, with this test match, I think tomorrow they're looking forward to that rest day, and then Monday and Tuesday's preparation again for the match on Wednesday. So a tight schedule for the South Africa team, but we are really grateful to have them on our shores in Trinidad and Tobago and by extension the Caribbean, and we hope that tomorrow they can probably get to test some of our waters, maybe on the Maracas beach area.
Well, they would be looking to take whatever time they have to probably sightsee and explore Trinidad and
Yeah, she said
Tobago.
a couple of them might be playing golf tomorrow, as well as a couple might be looking to see whether the beaches are feasible or not. So do hope that they get to enjoy the lovely experience of being in our island.
And this time it's Amir Jangu on the back foot, just cutting this one. And just a bit of misfield there where they feel that short cover. And that's Rabada. And they get through for an easy single. So we haven't seen Rabada with the ball yet. but he's in that high traffic area in the field.
And I must say I'm impressed, Ronnie, in that as a fast bowler, as that one is defended from Greaves, he has not taken the ball since that first spell in the first innings, but he has been on the field and he has been there from ball one in this morning session. So it's not to say that if he's not bowling, he's not going to take bat.
Right.
He is showing that he's ready and able, and this one tucked into the leg side again for a comfortable single from Greaves, but he just is probably monitoring a minor niggle or injury or something to that extent, or maybe just even taking a rest and allowing the other fast bowlers such as Berger and Pretorius and they to get some overs in with the upcoming match in mind.
Well, remember, he would obviously be the lead bowler for the South African, and it would be him and Giddy definitely would be the two fast bowlers, and it would be now with the others to determine who would be the other two. So it's just a matter of giving the others the opportunity to showcase their talent really and see what they can do in trying to get them prepared and, you know, get that other two fast bowling spot up on the final 11. So he is that kind of person, and as you rightly said, he's on the field. And with earlier when Berger opened the bowling, he was giving advice constantly. Every delivery he would walk across and give a piece of advice, probably just, you know, well bowl, and as you said, a low high five, a low five, as they would say. You know, just to encourage the bowler, and that's what you want from your big senior fast bowler. You know, to usher that the sort of confidence to the junior bowlers who's coming, trying to make their way in the international scene, and that's excellent from him. We also saw him, he was giving some advice to Chanderpaul with the bat to show him to get a big swing over the wicket. So he was giving some advice to the batters as well.
I think we know in terms of his batting advice, he can certainly create a boundary with quite some ease. So by all means, this probably asking Chanderpaul to take a risk.
Yeah.
Why not try to go over the top? You know, get into the mind of the batsman. And so there's no need to defend every delivery. And so said, so done. The one shot that Chanderpaul tried to play aggressive, he was out. And he held back from that shot. I'm convinced that he did not go full-fledged with that sweep shot.
Keshav Maharaj continues. This one is a really good pull shot there from Amir Jangu. He would just get 2 runs from it, but it was really good. He got down there, he got low. The ball was kept a bit low, but he got down, bent that back knee so that he was able to hit down on it. And he hit it down into the ground, not like what Chanderpaul did, and paddled it up in the air. And he picks up 2 runs. So this is good from Amir Jangu here. And he would want to, you know, bat as long as possible. As you said before, he got 30 in the first inning. You got set. Getting 30 and 40 means you are set. You need to now carry on, because you have occupied a certain period of time at the wicket. You need to carry on and get a big score. So you see a lot of batters, you know, you're getting into the 30s, the 40s, and then they just start to relax and you're out. Right?
And just to pick your brain on that point, Ronnie, do you think sometimes it's down to, as we see the end of the 21st over, the score 43 for 4, do you think it's a matter of lack of physical fitness to carry on, or is it a lack of mental concentration?
I think it's concentration. It's down to the concentration. You generally tend to have a lapse, and we did have a break in between as well. So when you do have a break, you get to tend to have that little mental lapse, and then you also he sawed off the fast bowlers, the bowlers who were running in really well, bowling good, nice, tidy line and length. He saw them off. And now you have the spin bowlers who would be a bit more easier for him. This time Pete continues from the southern end, and you tend to then, okay, your mindset is that, okay, I don't have to be too cautious anymore with the spinners. Maybe I could just look to push the ball around, be a bit aggressive. You saw him just stepping down the crease a bit, playing down the ground. So all that now starts to play in your mind. You start to get a level of comfort, and then you tend to lose that focus a bit. So that's where your non-striker comes in. You need to keep in your air, keep focus, the job at hand, what you need to do. And that's why they always say batting is in partnership. Both batters have to work together to ensure the partnership grows and grows and grows. So they have to be talking to each other. You see your striker play a bad shot, you just walk out and tell them, okay, all right, let's go on. Let's concentrate. Play the next ball, focus on what is ahead. And you keep building like that. And that's how you build a partnership and it grows. So you need that person, that non-striker, to talk to you in the end. Sometimes it don't happen. And then you play a bad stroke and you get out. Right? So it's all about that mental aspect and that working with your partner, your batting partner in the end to get that mental focus in all the time.
Yeah, all very pertinent points and beneficial information for all of our viewers here in terms of understanding the importance and the context of being at the wicket and knowing the value of having a partner and batting together with that partner, knowing his style of play in tandem with your style of play based on the type of bowlers you're facing as well. One batsman might be more aggressive than the other, one batsman might be more defensive, and they can easily take pressure off each other. For example, if someone, as we see the 22nd over coming to an end 44 for the loss of 4, if you have a batter who is traditionally defensive, as we can see even from this partnership, Greaves 10 from 49, he's been very, very watchful. And we know that Django tends to score more quickly in terms of the batsmen in the Championship 11 lineup. He likes to play with that strike rate just above 60, even in the longer format. We know he just recently concluded great performances in the T10 format as well. So if Django can rotate the strike easily, it would allow Greaves to feel a bit less pressured, because he has been there for quite some time and he hasn't been able to score as freely. But now that the scoreboard would be ticking over, Greaves might be more inclined to look for the singles and rotate as well.
Yes, as Keshav Maharaj continues from the media center end, and Greaves continues that work as you just mentioned, Keshav. And that is an excellent point. Again, working in partnership, building a partnership, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, and work accordingly. So Greaves would generally, in this format, would generally tend to be less aggressive, push the ball around, get the singles, and you with a batter like Django on the other end, it complements each other. And you get rotation of the strike, you get that aggressive nature. Now the pressure is back on the bowlers. How do you counteract that?
Yeah.
So that's the other side of it. You put the pressure now back on the field inside the bowlers. How are we going to counteract this? How are we going to put pressure on these batters now? And you now have to have plans for separate batters and keep changing and chopping and changing until you figure it and get it right. So it is a bit difficult. This one is a bit short and wide, cut away nicely by Greaves. He's going to pick up a couple more runs, and the score now moves on to 46. So again, you see the partnership working here. You saw in the previous over, Amir Django was quickly on the back foot, looking to cut, looking to pull the ball, trying to be a bit aggressive. It is his nature. And now you can see Greaves just looking to get forward. If there's a bad ball, he would get on the back foot, look to punch it, look to cut it away, rotate the strike. So this is excellent here from this pair. And now it puts now the captain of the fielding side under a bit of pressure now in trying to figure out, how am I going to bring this partnership? How am I going to keep the batters quiet? With balls like that.
Of course. Right on cue there, Maharaj releasing a delivery that would have any batsman in difficulty. As we took a look at the pitch this morning, Ronnie, we saw closer to that side of the pitch. We noted that Maharaj would have wanted to try and pitch some of his deliveries in or around those foot marks and where those areas of indentation on the pitch itself. And once he gets it into that spot, anything can happen. As you see, that one turned and kept low. Some might turn and bounce. Some might even pitch and turn straight, or just keep straight. And with the angle of the bowler, we know Maharaj, he has drifters, he has a lot of varieties on display. Yeah. So it's just those subtle differences that can affect someone on the fourth day of play in this longer version.
It's Dane Peter continue, and again you can see the aggressive nature of Django there. That one not too short on the stumps, but he's on the back foot looking to score, looking to cut that ball, square up the wicket and pick up runs. So that's the difference, the subtle difference between the two. But at this time, he leaves that one alone. It came back. He was very lucky
So
there.
just as we said, Ronnie, we saw Pete getting turned away from the left-hander for majority of his deliveries, and that one just skidded on.
Yeah, went on with the arm. But as you can see, some a bit of variation there. Again, Amir Jungle looking to get on the back foot and punch that one.
I like this contest here because Django is not going to just block every single delivery. Once the ball is there to play his shots, he likes to show everything he has on display.
But the bowler now would feel he's in the game.
Correct.
He's in the game.
And this is the beauty of cricket. This is really where
Beauty of Test cricket.
Test cricket, of course. Of course, in the shorter formats, the battles would be similar, but just less in intensity and duration.
Yeah.
For example, in a T20, you'd have to counteract attacking batsmen, which is the main go-to. In Test cricket, we have seen, as you mentioned from the start of our session, the Bass ball, which has taken over a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Then we have teams with a traditional style of play in terms of just going along, looking for singles. Some like to take aggressive stances. Some like to just vary their approach as that 24th over comes to an end, 46 for 4. But it's all down to that battle, Ronnie, that mental test, which is why they call it test match cricket.
Correct.
You know, for all of our viewers, especially the youngsters on vacation, they don't want to hear about tests right now. No one likes to write an exam, but as we all know, it's a necessity. You have to go through tests in life in order to improve. And that's why I'm a firm believer of test match cricket and regional 4-day cricket being most pivotal to the development of any cricketer, no matter what format you wish to play.
So Keshav Maharaj continues from the media center end. And again, that one just turning away from the right-hander. So he's getting a bit of purchase of the wicket. But he would want to bowl to the left-hander to utilize that foot marks that you spoke about in his previous over. He would want to bowl to the left-handers. But again, smart batting here by this pair. He knows that the left-hander would have some problems on that southern end. So Graves is trying to take most of the strike on this end. So this is again smart batting, good partnership batting, and knowing your partner, knowing the bowlers, and just trying to build that partnership. So this is excellent from this pair here. And now Maharaj has to find another way. He cannot utilize that area that is there for the left-handers.
Of course, and this is exactly what they wanted in preparation for the test series. These mini battles, as that one gets a bit more turn and Greaves takes a quick single. But essentially, this is the preparation that any team would be looking for coming up to a test match and a test series, because in this situation, Maharaj would have to call on all of his experience, all of his guys and his wisdom to try and get an opportunity and create a wicket-taking chance, as we now get to see him against the left-handed Django.
Yeah.
We'll see what he has on offer. A change in the field immediately. Just a slight variation of that fielder at backward square. And that's exactly where Django plays the shot. So he took 2 steps to his left, Ronnie. If he stayed where he was previously, he might have gone for 4. So it just shows you that each ball he's thinking. Each ball he wants to ensure that he's able to either restrict the batsman or build more pressure on him.
Yeah, at the end of that over, the 25th over, it's 46 for 4. But just to add to that, the batter would have been thinking, yes, he's going to pitch it because he's bowling round the wicket. So he's expecting the bowler to pitch that into the rough. But he didn't. He bowled it straighter and quicker for Amir Django. And he did play the sweep shot, but played it well in the end, but straight to that fielder. So it was a set plan they had to Amir Django. It just, he didn't play it in the air. He played it well in the ground. So Dane Pete continues from the southern end, and there's a chance for a run out. Well, it was played into the onside. Justin Greaves, he wasn't interested in a single at all, but there was a single available there. Amir Django was 3/4 way down the pitch and had to turn back. Well, no harm done in the end. Oh, what a delivery. What a delivery from Dane Pete. That turn sharply into the right-handed Justin Grieve. If we can see that one again, that was a very good delivery. He was very lucky to get some bat on that. He played it very late in the end. Again, utilizing that little rough outside that off stump there. So excellent from the bowler. Just utilizing that little rough outside the off stump. And pitching it in there, getting the ball to turn back sharply into the right hander and causing some problems here for Greaves. Let's see again. Yeah, that's excellent.
That is the exact area he would want to be. A couple of them were a bit too straight, so going towards that leg stump region. But keeping it outside off and turning into the top of off and close to middle is where an off spinner would want to be.
Yeah, and that's why Amir Jangu wanted the single. So he would have been on strike, the left-hander. So Dane Pete wouldn't have been able to utilize that rough. He would have to pitch it either middle and off, going around the wicket into the left-hander. So it would have been easier for Amir Jangu to play it off the wicket.
And
So
you can see Pete is just tempting Greaves.
So it's excellent cricket going on out there at the moment. Both batters and bowlers are thinking the game. They're trying to negate each other's moves here, like a chess match, trying to see who can get the upper hand. At the moment, after 26 overs, it's 47 for 4. The championship 11 now, they lead. I believe it's by 40 odd runs.
I think it's around 36.
Yeah.
Lead itself.
So they are, yes, it's 36. So they are not in a comfortable position, but they are in the lead.
Yes, having a lead itself is a positive thing.
Yes,
One
always
run,
is.
100 runs. You know, those are the factors that would vary, but yes, it is at the mental aspect. You can tell yourself we are in the front. We just need to continue building while we are in front.
Yeah, definitely. And not lose wickets to give the South Africans a chance. At the start, the South Africans getting that 3 quick wickets, they would think they would have been in with a shot of actually winning outright. That's how they continue picking up wickets, wrap them up early, let's say about 100 or so, and give themselves a chance of chasing that down. But as it stands, a good partnership here between the captain Justin Greaves and Amir Jangu have really put the pressure back on the bowlers as such, and the 2 spin bowlers operating yes, they have been able to beat the bat on a few occasions, get that odd ball to turn, but really haven't put too much pressure on the batters. They seem to be in control at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And they seem to be unbothered as well, which is most important, as having composure at the crease, as we see an extra fielder being brought into that slip cordon. So 3 fielders closing around the bat now, just to add another aspect for Greaves to consider. He plays with an open face there. He could have easily taken a single if he wanted, but again, Ronnie, as you mentioned, they just seem relaxed at this stage to play themselves in. And Greaves, more importantly, getting that call up back into the test squad, he would relish this opportunity to just get some time facing against the bowlers. And if he's included in the 11, this will be invaluable for him. So when he plays against them, as that one is just tucked into the leg side, no run, when he reaches to that stage in the oval, it would be as if he's already set. He's already faced a lot of deliveries against the premier bowlers, you would say, for South Africa. Only Rabada has not really had a spell. And as we see, with the end of that 27 over, the score 48 for 4, it appears as if the players have decided to call it a day. The umpires are shaking hands, the players are shaking hands all around, and given that it's a practice match, most likely the players would probably just want to get some extra time with recovery, as we had 3.5 full days of cricket into this 4th day, completing the morning session, and by all means they have had ample opportunity with bat, with ball, and have been able to get the proper practice that they would have desired prior to this test series. So as we see the players walking off, Greaves and Jangu doing well to come out not out and to steady the ship after the fall of 3 early wickets. And South Africa also doing well. You can see even Ngidi, after shaking hands and everyone is walking off, he's still in the center of the pitch, just visualizing and adjusting himself. And Kemar Roach is probably looking to get a small goal sweat going. You know, some of these players would still be looking to do some fitness work and training. But all in all, Ronnie, you would say that it has been an excellent practice match as Temba Bavuma walks off and leads his troops. They have had all of the opportunities on display. Batsmen have gotten to half centuries, bowlers have gotten wickets. You've seen some good fielding attempts. Shamar Springer getting to an excellent century. Jeremy Solozano, notable performances for the Championship 11. And your thoughts, Ronnie, on how the match has gone thus far and leading up into that Test series?
Well, it has, as you mentioned, it has been good for both set of players. In particular, West Indies, remember they batted first. They got to 397. As you mentioned, Jeremy Solozano getting an excellent 111. And I mean, it is really, he had a good season and he backed it up with that 111. We also saw Amir Jangu getting a score, not pushing on. Casey Carty getting a score, 24 not pushing on. Justin Greaves, the captain, got a score, 24 not pushing on. And we spoke about that earlier on, where they need to push on and get big scores to show what they are capable of. We saw Shamar Springer, he took his opportunity and he scored a wonderful 131 as well. Joshua Bishop, this young man, a lot of talent. And he showed his class as well with that 50 also. And so, I mean, it was a good knock from them, the batters in particular. Yes, you would have expected a few of them, the likes of Justin Greaves, to continue and get a big score. It didn't happen, but then you saw the bowlers, Rabada, as you mentioned, an excellent spell from him, 9 overs, 3 for 47. He really started the ball rolling, put the Championship 11 under pressure initially, and he got things going. Burger bowled well, didn't pick up a wicket, and Giddy bowled as well, didn't pick up a wicket. Then Keshav Maharaj, he picked up 2 for 82. So the bowling was okay. It wasn't what they wanted, but again, it was just for them to get out there and get practice under their belt. So that was good for them. But in the batting for the South Africans, this is where things look good for them. And this is where they would have liked. Markram getting 82, and it's good to see him back into the Test team. He was there for the last series, scored some runs, he scored 100 as well. So it's good to see him there. Captain of the T20 team, and it was sad for them losing in that final. You know, you could have seen it was hurting them, but it's good to see him back on it here, scoring runs. Bubuma, the captain, getting 51 as well. And this guy, Bellingham, I like the way he bats. He bats free. Yeah, he bats free, bats nice, and he looks good while he batting. He got I believe was 74 until he retired. Rickerton looked good for his 80 as well. And both the batters, they got themselves in, which was excellent. And now the bowlers for the West Indies Championship 11, Kemar Roach, now coming back into things, didn't pick up a wicket. Anderson Phillips, this is a young man who needs to get some wickets. He shows his talent. He was in the last tour to Australia. So Niall Smith, another good young player, he picked up a wicket. Shamar Springer as well. But in the end, it was again the South African, they declared, and the batting now for the West Indies. We saw early wickets from Ngidi. No other batter really looked to challenge the bowlers, but in the end, a good match for both teams. Ngidi got some wickets, which is exactly what you want. And I have Aston Wren with me here. You mentioned the bowlers, some of the South Africans. They really bowled well this morning session. Picked up early wickets. They bowled in that channel, kept it tight. So all in all, it was a very good match. Both teams, they assessed what they need to. Bowlers, batters got what they want, and in the end, a fitting draw. But your thoughts on this proceeding now? How do you think the West Indies would fare with the couple of guys from this match who got picked for the Test series? How do you how do you think they would fare now going forward?
Well, as you mentioned before, it was an excellent practice match, an excellent warm-up match for both teams. You have the South Africans. They came here. They came to the Brian Lara with one purpose, that is to get in as much practice, to be acclimatized and to execute what they have in mind when they meet the West Indies next week in the first Test match. And they did exactly that. I think the West Indies championship team, they did exceedingly well too, because you had 2 centuries in the first innings.
Yeah.
I mean, Solozano doing extremely well, and like I said before, I thought he should have been given a looking, but the game itself, it turned out to be a very, very good game for both teams, because the players who have been called to the West Indies, some of them are played in this game. I mean, you can just look at least Craig Braffett will be welcoming some of them, because you have Brian Charles was in this game, Justin Gray was in this game, and Casey Carty, who I think is a good player, because just see him play that one extra cover drive, I think he's a good, excellent player. You talk about what you think will happen with the West Indies. I think West Indies will have a really, really good fight on their hands, because when you come up against this South African team, the bowling attack shows much discipline, very disciplined, very, very disciplined, and they are willing to execute, having gone through this warm-up match, this training session, and the batsmen showed much discipline also. They came out here to be acclimatized, they came out here to assess the conditions, and the batsmen were among the runs. That is very, very important when you have your batsmen getting among the runs. 408.
Yes.
I mean,
for
400 for 90 clear. Excellent indeed. So I think West Indies will be looking at this game and the results, and I think Craig Braffett will be saying, well, we have some work to do, because we'll be up against a very good disciplined bowling attack. You have Rabada, you have Ngini, you have Pete, and you have Mirage.
Yeah.
These fellas are not going to be, and the Queen's Park will be a little more conducive. The Queen's Park will give a little more help. It depends how the toss goes, you know, and so it should be an interesting Test match. I think Craig Braffett will be coming off that series against England, where he suffered some heavy defeats.
Yeah.
I believe he will really, really be looking at at this performance here, at this game here, and saying, what do we do next? Because I believe Craig Brathwaite, he has to do some work on his batting and his captaincy also.
Yes, yeah, you heard it from the man himself. And yes, it's going to be difficult for the West Indies, but they would fancy themselves in the fact that they are playing on home turf, and they generally play well at home. So the batters themselves would fancy themselves of scoring some runs. The bowlers would fancy themselves getting wickets. So they have the home advantage. Let's put it that way. But as you mentioned, discipline with the South African bowlers and batters, and that is key. And that is something you expect with the South Africans: discipline. And that is what the West Indies will have to deal with come next week at the Oval. So it has been a really good test in terms of practice for the both teams, right, as you mentioned. And just to recap quickly, the West Indies Championship 11, they batted first 397 all out, and in response the South Africans, they got to 408 for 8 declared, and the West Indies Championship 11 in their second innings, they end up on 46 for 4. Match drawn here at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. A wonderful match we had in wonderful conditions, and definitely we look forward to that first test match in the Oval. It's going to be very interesting. As you mentioned, the toss would be important and the conditions of the wicket. We know generally the wickets take a bit of spin at the Oval, so we'll see the composition of the teams would be important as well.
Very much so, very much so. The composition will be very important, because they'll have a look at the wicket before and some days before, and they're going to pick the team, the players they think will perform on that type of wicket. And most importantly, discipline, because the South Africans showed that they are here. They sporting a relatively new team, a team that is in the making, a team that they are building. They are in the rebuilding process, because when you look at their team, there isn't the big names, the ones which we have been accustomed to, and so they will be relying upon the younger ones. And one of the things in which they are going to totally be relying upon is discipline, is to get it right, and they are being led by Bavuma, who is not a spring chicken. He's 34, but he's very experienced, and he knows the conditions in the Caribbean.
Yes, definitely. So we look forward to that opening test match at the Queen's Park Oval come next week. And that's it from the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. The match drawn between the West Indies Championship 11 and the South Africans. We really appreciate you looking and viewing this broadcast, and if you're hearing it, we appreciate that, and we look forward to the test match coming up, the first test, which is going to be very interesting. And that's it from us here at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. Thank you very much on behalf of the entire team here, Asal Ren, Keshav Maharaj, and the production team. We say goodbye and thank you.